Hello everyone and welcome to our channel and also to this video that I have decided to call Dating a Latino 101. I have almost exclusively dated Latin American men. It's just how the cookie has crumbled. With my knowledge of Spanish, having studied abroad, my relationship experience, I've decided to put together some tips about what you should be prepared for when you are considering dating a Latin American man. Starting with the basics here. You might hear a lot of terms thrown around when it comes to describing somebody who is Latin American, namely Latino, Hispanic, or Spanish. Latino refers to the geographical location of a person's country. I'm gonna throw up an image on the screen right now, and that image essentially relates to the geography of Latin American. If somebody says that they are Hispanic, what they're referring to is the fact that they speak Spanish. It's not necessarily the same thing as Latino because there are countries that fall in the Latin American geographical range that don't speak Spanish as a primary language. For instance, Brazil. If somebody says that they are Spanish, that means that they are from Spain. So keep those terms straight. Latin American is Latin America, Latino, right? Hispanic, Spanish speaking. Spanish from Spain. Not all Latinos speak Spanish. Like the example that I gave of Brazil, where the primary language is Portuguese, there are other countries where they speak Creole and French. There are a ton of indigenous languages that still exist in Latin America. I think, for example, in Guatemala, there's about 30-something different indigenous languages that exist in that country. Mexico has several languages that exist in their country, and others as well. Don't just assume that because somebody is from Latin America that they speak Spanish. I've noticed that there's this huge misconception that if somebody is Latino or they identify as Hispanic, that people assume that that is a race, and also that if you are Latino or Hispanic, that you are white. Somebody could be Mexican, however, they could also be a Black Mexican, and there are in fact many Black Mexicans in certain areas of the country. Somebody could be an Asian Dominican. Those are concepts that you kind of need to open your mind up to. Don't just expect for everybody to look the same, or even the idea of looking Latino, looking Hispanic, and it happens to me quite a bit. I'm not Latina, but there is a huge population of Afro-Latino people out there. So when people hear me speaking Spanish, they will say things like, oh, well, you don't look Latina. Or if I tell them that I'm not, they'll go, oh, okay, because I was confused. You don't look Latina at all. And that's just a very ignorant mindset to have. Speaking a language or being from a certain region doesn't mean that there is no racial diversity. Latinos and Latin Americans, they tend to have this very tight, community-oriented family experience, family bond. You might be introduced to family members like brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles, and they're not really siblings, cousins, aunts, or uncles. It's just people in the community that have been adopted into this family dynamic, and they're so close that we just start giving them names as if they were our family members. It was kind of cool for me to see that there's a similarity between Latin American and African American culture, but if you are not from either one of those cultures, or you come from a family dynamic where people just kind of do their own things and they don't really come together for huge reunions or family dinners every week and things like that, you're gonna have to get used to the fact that that is part of the culture. Declining food from someone or declining a gift from someone can be super offensive. One of the ways that in Latin American culture you show that you care for somebody or that you are caring for someone is by the food that you prepare for them and that you serve them. I have been in Latin American households or even in other countries and I'm eating, and as I'm eating, they're filling my plate back up. And I learned really quickly that you shouldn't say, no, I don't want any more, because people take that as a slight. You know, it's like they're trying to show you their love or the fact that they care about you by putting this food on your plate. The appropriate response is to say thank you. Whether you're going to eat it or not, if you need to take it with you, take it with you, but allow the person to continue serving you and just say thank you. Another thing that I learned pretty early on is that being introverted can be misinterpreted as being disrespectful, as being disinterested, or not wanting to be part of the Latin American dynamic where everybody is included. Believe it or not, I am kind of an introvert. I love my silence. I love being alone. I thought that being quiet was being polite. And when I would go to Latin American households and I was very quiet, people would always like, come on, what's wrong? Come on, talk to me, and what's going on? And ask all the questions. Or they go, is something wrong with you? Are you okay? Because I was just super, super quiet. If you are shy, if you're timid, if you're quiet or introverted, don't let that intimidate you and make you feel like you can't meet the family of this person if you're dating them and you want to be serious with them. Just let them know ahead of time. Could you please let your family know that I'm shy and like it might take a little while for me to open up, and don't just bring me there without them having any knowledge of these things, because you don't want for people to feel uncomfortable around you and vice versa. This is a biggie. This is a really, really big one that I want for everybody who is interested in dating somebody who either speaks Spanish or does not speak English as a first language to hear. I mean, really hear. Don't use your partner as a free language tutor. If you are interested in learning another language, and I mean like truly interested in speaking it fluently, not just a couple phrases here and there, if that is your goal, don't make getting into a relationship with somebody that speaks that language your motive to becoming fluent. It's not right. It's using someone at the end of the day. It's okay to ask that person if they could help to correct your pronunciation, or if they could, give you some tips on some phrases that are pretty common, but don't make it that person's responsibility to teach you. A little bit of interest in your partner's culture, background, ethnicity, language, history, food goes a long way, especially if that person is directly from their country or a first generation American. Ask questions, be willing to try certain foods, learning how to dance to those certain kinds of music. That all is something that shows the person that you care about them and that you want to know more about them. This is part of their background, their story, especially if you've got this language barrier at play in your relationship. Being willing to do all of those other things that I just mentioned shows the person that, hey, they are trying to connect with me and they are interested in communicating with me, even if it's non-verbally, through sharing in my culture with me. So don't underestimate the power of little gestures here and there. So y'all, thank you for making it to the end of this Dating a Latino 101 video. I've also prepared a second video of 7 questions that you need to make sure that you ask yourself before you start a relationship with a Latino. If you're interested in this content and would like to see more, please make sure to subscribe. As we always say on our channel, with God, nothing is impossible, and we will see you in the next video. Until then, take care.